Hi, my name is Scott Bloom, and I'm the Vice President of Business Development for SmartBiz. We make SBA loans easy, and we've partnered with Xero to make the loan process even easier by sharing data that exists in the Xero accounting software with the SmartBiz SBA loan application. And I'm going to demo that process and provide you an overview of some of the SmartBiz loan application process. So let's get started. So I'll start with my business name, typing in on a site that we've partnered with Xero to get Xero business owners started. And I'll enter in my email address. And that's going to go ahead and take me to my Xero application, where I'm going to have to go ahead and log into my Xero account and get started with the process to authorize the ability to be able to send my data over to SmartBiz. So I'll enter in that data and log in. And that will then go ahead. I'll have to authorize the application to be able to enable SmartBiz to actually access the data from the company. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And what that is doing is now authorizing the application from my company and sending that over to the SmartBiz loan application. And so what you'll see is that I've actually been pre-approved for a SmartBiz SBA loan of up to $20,000. The way that works is the system is actually passing information from Xero, financial information and other information on my business to enable me to get that approval process and with that information. And it's calculated that I can get pre-approved for an SBA loan of about $20,000. When you look at what you're applying from a loan, we try to be very, very transparent. So we tell you the amount of the loan, which is $20,000, what the monthly payments are, the loan term of 10 years, the rate of interest, which is 8%, the amount that you'll be actually receiving after you pay origination fees, and then what the actual APR is. And then from Xero, we're able to pre-fill in some of the information. So it's already sending over the business name, which is sample company, my contact information. I'll go ahead and fill in my contact phone number. It's got my email. And I will go ahead and type my password in. And then it's going to ask me to review the terms of service, our privacy policy, electronic communication signature, and referral and packaging agreement before we head over and agree, which I will go ahead and do, and then click on continue. So let me quickly walk through. In this case, I've taken the step to actually create an account, and that's completed. And then there's other steps that are involved in the process, and I'm going to walk through in this demo the pre-qualification process, which involves putting in business and personal information, which will determine if I can actually be pre-qualified for this $20,000 loan. Once you're pre-qualified, we ask eligibility questions. These are questions related to SBA questions. And it's a pretty simple process that takes a few minutes to answer those questions. They're really yes and no questions. For example, do you currently have an SBA loan? Are you in default on your SBA loan? These are questions. Do you work for the SBA? These are specific questions that we have to ask that may enable you not to get the loan if you answer the questions incorrectly. But in most cases, you will be able to get through it. Then we'll go through the approval process. Here we're actually downloading financial data from the Xero accounting software, balance sheet and income statement data, and balances in your checking accounts and business accounts to make sure that you have the right financial capabilities to qualify for the loan. In the verification process, we're taking documentation. For example, we're electronically accessing your tax returns, and we'll verify the information through that documentation that has been entered in previously. And once we verify it, then you'll be funded. This process for the application to pre-qual through the approval takes about 20 to 25 minutes. The verification and funding takes a couple days, and you'll be funded, if all goes well, within 2 to 5 days. So let's just walk through the business information and personal information, and let's see if we can get pre-qualified for a loan. So as I said, data is passed through Xero, and in this case, all this information's been pre-populated by the information that exists in the accounting software. The one thing that I've actually switched my company into a sole proprietorship, so I'm going to make that change. And I'm going to enter in my social security because I actually don't have an EIN with that. And I'll put in my DUNS number. We ask if the business is a franchise. Only certain franchises have been approved for SBA loans. In this case, my business is not a franchise. And I'll go ahead and look for what business I'm in. I am actually in retail trade. And I'm going to find my NAICS code, and I actually own a furniture store. So outline my business. Business date was started in March, but it was actually started in March 2011. I've got 5 employees in my store, and this application is already pre-filled in my current business address as well as my mailing address. So I'll go ahead and continue. And it's going to go through and look at the business information that I've already put in. I'll review that information, make sure it's all correct. Looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and submit. And now I'm going to go and start to enter my personal information. So in this case, I'm a sole proprietor for my furniture store, and I own 100% of the business. And I'm the authorized signer, so I'll go ahead and save and continue. And it's going to tell me, for confirmation, that it's going to ask me some background information on principal owners and directors. It's going to ask me for social, a driver's license, citizenship, and I just need to accept that it's okay for me to go ahead. So I'll go ahead and start to complete the application. Again, it's pre-filled. Application information is pre-filled from Xero, so it has certain fields like my name, which we've already done. Go ahead and enter in birth date information. And my social security in this case is filled out. Place of birth, go ahead in California. And enter in my phone number. And it's got my email address. There's certain questions. Do you keep your personal assets in a trust? If I answered yes to that question, I wouldn't be qualified for the loan. And I'm going to enter in my city and state and my zip code. Status is I own a house. I've lived there for more than 2 years, and my monthly payment is $2,500. My driver's license is from California, and I'll go ahead and enter in my driver's license number and the expiration date. And I will go ahead and save and continue. Oh, yes, looks like I missed something. It's asked me for my state, I'm sorry, the country, United States, and I'll go ahead and continue. And again, then it's going to ask me to review that information and look at this information. Did I enter everything right? Make sure I can go ahead and verify. And then it's going to ask me to verify that I am Scott Bloom, and this is my company, and I grant permission for SmartBiz to actually go ahead and run my credit. And if I'm okay with that to run my credit, that's the process I need to do to go through and get pre-qualified. So the system is automatically running credit. It's looking at my personal information to run that credit. And let's see what the result is. Should take just a minute or two. Sometimes it could take a couple minutes, but usually it goes fairly quickly on the pre-qualification process. We're actually checking your personal FICO score, and we're also running something called a liquid credit score that checks to see if your credit is running smoothly as well. Okay, it looks like we're pre-qualified for a $20,000 loan. So that's great. Business has met the credit criteria established from Bill Float's lenders, and then we can actually go on to the next step. And the next step then will be the eligibility questions, which is going through some of the things that are specific to the SBA. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see the questions are: you presently subject to a criminal information arraignment or other means where criminal charges are brought by any jurisdiction? In this case, I'll say no. But this is the application questions that you have to go through for eligibility. And then there is financial related information, and then you go through the approval process, verification, and funding. Hope that is helpful from an application process, and we look forward to working with Xero accounting users.